So, you're bored of Grand Theft Auto Online. I get it, the game is 10 years old, but here's 101 things I've done over my 10 years playing this game to keep myself entertained. And hopefully you can find something in here too. One of the easiest ways to have fun if you're bored is to see how long you can survive with 5 stars. If you want to make it a bit more entertaining for yourself, you can handicap yourself as well, so maybe only use a certain weapon, maybe see how long you can survive without even shooting anyone. Make up games with your friends, something like Russian roulette, or maybe even set up your own little race course with your friends and try and do it on a BMX bike or a car, anything. Really try to use Grand Theft Auto as a sandbox as opposed to missions. The open world has so many things that you can do if you're creative enough to make some really fun games on your own. Go to the test track. This is one of the most underrated parts of Grand Theft Auto Online. In the LS Kami, there's a test track underneath, and there's something strangely addicting about trying to beat your fastest lap time. Just try your best not to crash into any of the pillars. And speaking of car crashes, today's sponsor is Morgan & Morgan. In 2020, there were over 5 million car crashes. That's over 15,000 a day and 600 an hour. Those in an accident can actually be entitled to more than you think. People have the impression that hiring a lawyer is a daunting task. Morgan & Morgan have modernized the injury law process so you can submit a claim and communicate with your legal team all from your phone. Injured and don't know where to start? With Morgan & Morgan, it's so easy. With Morgan & Morgan, you can submit a claim without ever having to leave your couch. So if you're ever in an accident, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. You can submit a claim in 8 clicks or less, and you can have America's largest injury law firm fighting for you. You can get started at forthepeople.com or dial pound law, that's pound 529 from your phone. On the topic of racing, try some races. I highly doubt you've completed every race in the game, and maybe if you only do stunt races, try street racing or vice versa. Racing is one of the best parts of the game that not many people actually play. Try drifting. There are some very good drifters in Grand Theft Auto Online. You see them on the subreddit all the time. There's a handful of vehicles that are made specifically for drifting in Grand Theft Auto, and it's a skill that not many players have actually mastered. One of the most fun ones is trying to get rare cars. There's not many rare items in Grand Theft Auto Online, so having the ability to flex something cool is, well, cool. I've uploaded 2 videos on how to get some of the rarest cars in the game, so check them out if you want to get something cool. Try to land planes on the Maze Bank Tower. Now, I've actually landed every single plane on top of the Maze Bank Tower. It took me like a whole day, but for any pilots out there, this is actually a really challenging challenge that I recommend trying. If that's too easy, maybe try and land some of the biggest planes in the game on top of Mount Chiliad without blowing up. That one is probably even more difficult. On the topic of Mount Chiliad, try to drive some of the worst vehicles in the game to the top. I drove a bus up there once. That took me about 4 hours, but it was a really fun challenge. And if anyone actually sees you up there with one of these crazy slow vehicles, they're going to be very confused. Start a new character and do rags to riches. One of the main reasons you're bored of Grand Theft Auto Online is because you have everything. You have so much money that nothing really seems fun anymore. So start a new character, do your rags to riches grind, and see what it's like to level up in 2023. Do the daily objectives. These are actually surprisingly fun. They give you opportunities to do things that you don't normally do. And normally these are things you would have just never thought about doing. So give them a go. They pay you money as well. Trolling. Now, I mean this in the nicest way possible. A bit of friendly trolling, nothing that's gonna really ruin anyone else's experience, but messing around with the mechanics of the game and seeing how you can sort of poke fun at other players is definitely a good time. Proceed carefully with this next one. Try PvP, fighting other players. Now, you can do this in free mode if other players actually do want to fight you, or you can do death matches. While GTA Online wasn't specifically made for player versus player, there is a massive PvP community in the game, and if you haven't at least tried to get good at PvP once, you're probably missing out. It can be kind of fun. Try to win the prize ride. A lot of people actually just forget about this every single week, but it's actually a fair bit of fun to do the pursuit races and the street race series races that you have to do to win these prize rides. In my opinion, these are the best races in the entire game, and this gives you a reason to do it each week. Create your own race. Lots of people don't use the Rockstar Creator. Some of my best memories in Grand Theft Auto Online come from completing races that my friends actually made. And if you want to have a bit of fun with it, put some sort of pranks in the race as well. Things that are going to screw over your friends when they go through them. declutter your map. There's probably a lot of stuff on your map, a lot of letters that you haven't actually gone to and completed the missions that they try to give you. And for you completionists out there, clearing the map of these letters will actually be a fair bit of fun. Go to the shooting range. There's actually mini games in the shooting range as well, so you can see if you can get a high score, as well as practicing your aim. Try to fly under every bridge in the sewers in Los Santos. If you find this pretty easy, progressively do it with harder and harder planes. Eventually, it will become impossible to do because the gaps under the bridges are just too small. If you're a long-time player, or maybe you're just coming back to the game and you haven't played it in a while, go back and do some of the original contact missions that you used to complete way back in the day. This is a massive nostalgia trip that I promise will get you tearing up thinking of all the awesome memories you've had in this game. Try BMXing at the skate park. I know all of the skate parks around the map kind of just look like they're there for cosmetic reasons, but no, you can actually use these and they're kind of fun. Find some Easter eggs, go Easter egg hunting. There are so many Easter eggs, not only in GTA Online, but also story mode. And when I get bored of the game, what I like to do is go look for some of these Easter eggs just to see how much detail actually went into the development of this game. It's bizarre. Rockstar thought of some crazy things. See how long it takes you to make friends in an online session. Now, we all know an online session is just a war zone. These public sessions are crazy. So giving yourself a challenge to see if you can actually go and try and make a friend is kind of frustrating, but it's also kind of fun, I won't lie. Go sightseeing, whether it's the top of Mount Chiliad, whether it's Vespucci Beach, going for the sunset. Grand Theft Auto 5 and Online is just a beautiful game, and it's worthwhile trying to see if you can get some awesome screenshots. Verse your friends in some sports. Sports are actually very surprisingly fun. A couple of months ago, for the first time in probably 5 years, I versed one of my friends in golf, and we actually played a few rounds. Like, we played 3 rounds because it was actually pretty fun. So if you haven't done it in a while, play golf, play tennis, play arm wrestling, darts, something like that. It's a good change of pace from the original game, and it's also just fun to compete with your friends. Call Merryweather on someone and then go to your apartment and watch it unfold from your TV. So if you didn't know, you can spectate other players on your TV in any of your properties, and sending some mercenaries on someone and seeing if they can fight them off is just absolutely hilarious. A lot of players get very confused and don't know what's going on. The next one's kind of similar to getting a 5-star wanted level, but just go on an absolute rampage. Instead of giving yourself challenges to survive with 5 stars, get in a tank, get in the most armored vehicle you can, and just absolutely obliterate anything in sight. Act like a pedestrian. This is something I've done a few times. Go to the clothes store, dress up like one of the civilians you see on the streets, and then maybe even go off the radar and try to walk past other players and see if they notice you. A lot of the time, they actually don't. It's a lot of fun. Relive the old GTA days and break into the military base with just a basic car. Going in there with a bare bones loadout, a non-armored vehicle, and maybe even just a pistol, and see if you can actually steal a jet or see how long you can survive in Fort Zancudo. Set up a roadblock either on the highway or one of the main roads in the game and see what the NPCs do. A lot of NPCs will act very strangely, and then when you get bored of it, what you can do is blow up a massive collection of cars, and the explosion is absolutely beautiful. Complete all of the stunt jumps. There's 50 of them in Grand Theft Auto Online, and I would bet most of you guys haven't completed all of them. So go do it. Try to max out all of your stats. A lot of players have probably already done this, but if you're a bit of a lower level and you're finding yourself getting bored, this is something else you can grind. Go to the movies. These are surprisingly entertaining. Rockstar puts their dry humor in there. They're all very short, so don't worry if you have a short attention span. But the developers spent a fair amount of time actually developing these movies, and I feel like not many players have actually watched them. Try to unlock A.V. Schwartzman. He's the best hacker for the Diamond Casino heist, and in order to get him, you have to go around the map and destroy all the signal jammers. A lot of players still haven't done this. A lot of players also haven't unlocked Patrick McCreary. He is the best gunman in the Diamond Casino heist, and even though you might not actually use him, It's still cool just to say you've unlocked him, and he's kinda hard to unlock. You have to wait for the random event to spawn and then actually do it. Go and get all of the collectibles. There's a handful of collectibles, some of them there's 100 collectibles in the set, and if you're a completionist like me, this is something you're gonna want to do for sure. Try to get some of the harder awards in the game. A lot of players ignore the awards, but every single update in Grand Theft Auto Online comes with a new set of awards, so try and complete all of the activities in the game in different ways, then get these hard awards. The hardest one in the game is Criminal Mastermind though, so if you do choose to do that, good luck is all I can say. Try and make some cool clips or even a mini movie with the Rockstar editor. For any filmmakers out there, you will absolutely love doing this. Try and host car meets either with your friends or see if you can get an entire lobby to have a car meet with you. If you do that though, just watch out for the guy that's going to come in with an RPG and blow everything up. Try the Cayo Perico and Diamond Casino heists, but do all of the approaches that you have never actually done before. A lot of players complain that they're bored of these heists, but they've never actually completed it other than one or two ways. Completing all of the different approaches is very challenging. Obviously, they're not as good as the most meta ones, but they're a lot of fun just to try out. Go off-roading. Try and take a monster truck up and around the mountains or any off-road vehicle and see if you can do it. Go play some of the games in your arcade. A few of these are actually throwbacks from games Rockstar made years and years ago. And you can even verse your friends in a lot of these too, so chances are you'll actually have a fair bit of fun. This next one is for absolute psychopaths. Try and complete cell missions in public lobbies and try and survive. Obviously, this would only be for the very, very rich players who don't really care too much about the money, because there's a good chance you're gonna lose it all. Next one is obey the law. I think we've all probably tried this at one point, following all the traffic laws, never killing anyone, all of that. And if you really want to take it to the next level, something I've done before is see if I can get a few $1,000,000 starting from scratch on a new character without ever breaking the law. It's very, very tough. Try to escape 5-star cops in different ways. One challenge I gave myself was trying to escape cops with 5 stars on foot. I've also tried to do it on a BMX bike. Lots of different crazy challenges that are actually pretty fun. See how much money you can make at the casino. Yeah, gambling. It's look, it's kind of fun. I won't lie to you. I think we've all been sucked in at some point. Not trying to fuel anyone's gambling addiction here, but it can be kind of fun. See how long you can follow a player until they realize that they're actually being followed. Now, I'm not suggesting going and griefing anyone, but just sort of follow someone, see how they react. Create some new outfits. Maybe get some inspiration from a character online that you like, or maybe a movie character, something, anything like that, and try and dress up like them. Go into your apartment and spectate level 1s. This is some of the most fun I think I've ever had in Grand Theft Auto Online. Just going and spectating people who are trying to figure out how the game works is hilarious. A lot of them are just doing the most crazy stuff that you would never even have thought about. Turn off all of your HUD and go into first person. Walking around with absolutely nothing on your screen is incredibly cinematic and kind of makes you appreciate how gorgeous this game is. Do your time trials. A lot of people don't even complete these every week. Your HSW time trial is going to give you $250,000 and your other time trials will give you 100,000. They're a pretty good time and they actually pay pretty well too. Troll people in the mini tank, the invade and persuade tank. This is one of the most fun vehicles in Grand Theft Auto Online. A lot of players just get extremely confused when a mini toy remote control tank walks up to them. Definitely something I would recommend doing. Damage your car or shoot out all of your tires and see if you can actually drive effectively. If you want to give yourself a harder challenge, do this and then get the cops on you and see if you can outrun them. Maybe an even harder challenge is do the same thing, but instead of shooting your tires out, do it with the drift tires on that you can get from the LS car meet. These things have absolutely no traction, and I think it would be very, very hard for you to outrun the cops with these. Explore places on the map that you haven't seen before. There's a lot of hidden locations, a lot of cool hiding spots, things like that around the map that you probably haven't seen. So looking them up either on YouTube or TikTok, or maybe even just exploring the map on your own can be a lot of fun. Drive around in a vehicle that you haven't used for a long time. I'm sure a lot of us have these massive garages just with a massive collection of cars we don't use. Take one of the older ones for a spin. Try and remember why you bought it in the first place. Grab an armored Kuruma, go to Fort Zancudo, and see how long you can survive without getting blown up by a tank. So instead of going in there with nothing, take an armored vehicle. That way the only way you're gonna die is probably by getting blown up, so see how long it takes them to do that. Complete all of the gang attacks. There's 20 of these around the map, and most players have not completed all of these. Do all of the original 5 heists again. Now this one can be very tough and a bit frustrating as well if you're doing it with random players, but it also kind of feels good to go back and do these heists and help out these lower level players who are struggling to do them. I'm sure they'll appreciate it. Replay the Grand Theft Auto 5 story. This is something that I do once every couple of years. Story mode is so much different to Grand Theft Auto Online, it's crazy. It's genuinely a completely different game, and I don't know how that makes sense considering they're set on the same map, and it's also a really good story too, so I recommend playing it if you haven't, or playing it again if you haven't played it in a while. Create themed garages. What I mean by that is taking a movie or taking a style of car that you like and creating a garage using only those vehicles. For example, make a garage based off Fast and Furious. Only use cars that are featured in the movies and see what you can come up with. Use the ramp buggy. The ramp buggy is one of the most fun vehicles in the entire game, and I love pulling it out and driving into other players. They go flying, and a lot of them don't even get mad. They kind of just drive back at you wanting to be launched again. It's a good way to make friends. Play Arena Wars. This is one of the most underrated modes in the entire game, in my opinion. It's actually a lot of fun, and the vehicles you use in Arena Wars are pretty unique as well. Drone shocking. Drive around using a drone, either the one you get in your Terabyte or the one in your arcade, and drive around and shock other players. Don't grief them for too long. Obviously, we don't want to piss anyone off too much, but it's pretty funny seeing people react to being shocked out of nowhere. When you're in a public lobby, don't just ignore all of the events that pop up. The free mode events can actually be a lot of fun, whether it's trying to have the longest wheelie, trying to blow up as much stuff as possible, or even if it's just a business battle. These all provide a slightly different style of gameplay than you're used to, so there should be a bit of fun. Play different adversary modes. Adversary modes are some of the most fun you can have in all of Grand Theft Auto Online. They're nothing like free mode. They're completely different, things you would never even think of in GTA. There's even one that's like a battle royale called Motor Wars, so try these out if you haven't already. You're missing out. Next, I'm gonna suggest you do some CEO work. If I was gonna pick one that's the most fun, instead of just suggesting one that's gonna make you money, I would say executive search. This is basically hide and seek, where people on the map know roughly where you are, but they have to come and find you. If you want to make it extra fun and challenging, dress up as a pedestrian and walk around, see if anyone kills you. Next on the list is practicing flying a scramjet. Scramjets are just incredibly fun. It always seems to end up in a pool for some reason. If you want to take your scramjet flying to the next level, try and land it on top of the Maze Bank Tower. There's only a few players that can actually do this. It's very difficult to do, but personally, I've sat there for hours trying to do this. It's actually very addictive. Next on the list, buy different cars, buy different vehicles than you're used to using. One of the main reasons Grand Theft Auto Online can get boring is because you're only using the exact same type of vehicle. So go and buy something different, and I'm sure you'll actually enjoy it, at least for a small amount of time. Go do all of the junk daily skydives. This is actually going to give you $100,000 as well, and they're kind of fun. Just like a lot of other things on the list, this one involves giving yourself a unique challenge. So what I do sometimes is I try and go around and rob all of the stores on the map without dying. When I do this, I give myself different challenges, like I can't use an armored vehicle, I can't call Lester to get rid of the cops, things like that. It's actually pretty fun. Buy different weapons. If you haven't already unlocked the Mark II weapons, which I know a lot of you haven't, don't be lying to me. I know a lot of you don't have all of the Mark II weapons and all of the different ammo types. A lot of them are very good, so if you don't have them, go get them. This one's always a good time. Now, of course, I do not recommend doing this in real life, but go to your apartment, have a drink, and then, you know, go try and drive. It's fun in-game only, okay? Seriously, I'm not even joking, in-game only. Try out the survival series modes. Really, I would recommend doing any mode when they're double money to at least try it, but even if they're not double money, survival is another mode that's very, very fun. Go get a different haircut. Rockstar's actually added lots of different haircuts over the years, so maybe if you haven't changed your hairstyle, hair color, hair highlights, anything like that, go give it a go. You can also go and get a new tattoo, or you can try and unlock some exclusive tattoos that you haven't unlocked before, because some you actually have to unlock. Get some cool camos for your vehicles and your weapons. Now, you can do this through the bunker research. There's a lot of different camos and liveries in there. Or you can just go buy one from Ammunition, but doing the bunker research requires a bit of work. Break into the prison, Bolingbroke Penitentiary. This one's sort of a roleplay opportunity. You can even dress up as a prisoner if you'd like, and then try and escape with either only your fists or maybe give yourself a pistol. One of the things I've recently done, because I was pretty bored, is I've actually moved all of my business locations. For example, for the MC businesses, I always recommend getting the cheapest ones that are out in Sandy Shores, but I decided I have enough money now, I'm gonna buy the ones in the city. Is it a great method for grinding? I mean, no, probably not, but it kind of just changes up the routine and makes it feel a bit different by going to different locations. Now, unfortunately, we don't have mansions in the game yet, but you can kind of pretend you do. Go up to Vinewood Hills and explore some of the mansions up there, or head out a bit further out to Devin Weston's place and other mansions in the game, and pretend that you can actually buy them. If you're feeling like a grind, this kind of goes along with getting rare vehicles, but try and get the Arena Wars vehicles. Whether it's the Cloud Van, the Space Docker, or even the Rusty Tractor, these are some of the most difficult vehicles in the game to get. They're going to take a lot of playtime, but if you're bored and you're looking for something to do, I wish you luck trying to get these. Go and explore Cayo Perico. Alright, I know a lot of us have done the heist so many times, but how many of us have actually gone and explored all the Easter eggs on the island? There's a lot of them. I have a video showing you where they are if you haven't seen them. On top of that, you can also grab the metal detector and try and go get the daily caches on Cayo as well. On top of that, go and explore the ocean, not only in Cayo Perico, but the original map as well. There's a lot of shipwrecks, lots of cool Easter eggs. I'm not going to spoil them here for you, so if you're looking for something to do, go and do that. You can get the Epsilon robes. Now, to do this, you have to go to the bathroom attendant in your nightclub, and you need to tip him over and over again. How many times exactly? 577 times, but it's a pretty cool outfit. This is another roleplay opportunity, but go and use the car wash. I know we all just call in a new vehicle or take it back to our garage to repair vehicles these days, but if you take it through the car wash, it's going to be especially shiny, which is also a good idea right before a car meet. Replay the Franklin and Lamar short trip missions. The reason I recommend doing this is because a lot of people haven't played all of the missions as both Franklin and Lamar. The reason I say do that is because you're actually going to get a bonus amount of money, $50,000 I believe, the first time you complete it as both characters. So you really need to play all of these missions twice as both Franklin and Lamar. If you're a music fan, go and visit Record A Studios, because Dr. Dre is going to head in there every once in a while and play some music. Rockstar actually got Dr. Dre in studio and made a fake studio that looked exactly like his own, so that this is actually as realistic as possible. Customize your loadout. You can actually set custom loadouts. You can put weapons away in the safes around the map that you choose to put in your properties. So doing this will lead to a lot less frustration when you're actually in combat. Use your custom auto shops or your mod shops. What I mean by that is in your auto shop, you can customize vehicles for customers and then go out and deliver them. You can do the same thing in your MC clubhouse with motorbikes. What's funny is these are two of the only legal businesses in all of Grand Theft Auto Online, and they're actually pretty satisfying when you complete them. I don't know if that's just me, but I really enjoy doing these. Speaking of the auto shop, complete your daily exotic exports. When you see one of these pop up on your map, the little blue dot, you can deliver it down to the docks. You're going to get $20,000. If you complete all 10 of those exports in a day, you're going to get a bonus as well. Now, if you're wondering why these don't pop up on your map that often, what you actually have to do is either go into your auto shop or call Sasanta and request the list, and she'll show you the list of cars you need. Only a few of these are going to randomly spawn as blue dots. You actually have to go out and find other civilians driving these. So this is a fun and quick way to actually learn the different types of vehicles in GTA Online as well. Next on the list is hide and seek. Grab some friends, turn off your radar, your HUD, all of that, pick a part of the map and try and play hide and seek. This is a really fun way to kill an hour if you're ever bored. Take turns in hiding and seeking and see who can actually survive the longest. Have a little competition. Or if you don't want to play hide and seek, next on the list is play Manhunt with your friends. So this is sort of the same thing. It's kind of like hide and seek, but it's on a much larger scale. So instead of doing that, get maybe 3 or 4 of your friends. All of them have their HUD off. They'll be the seekers. And then the guy who's actually trying to run away, for example, maybe has to get from the top of Los Santos to the bottom of Los Santos. That way, if that player wants to win the challenge, they're going to have to disguise themselves as a civilian, drive around like a civilian, not breaking the law. It's just a really, really fun game to play with your friends. This is what I did once. We tried to stack 3 cars on top of each other. It's kind of easy to stack 2 cars on top of each other, but trying to stack 3 is almost impossible. This might take you a couple hours, so it's a good way to kill time, and it's actually a lot of fun. Now, unfortunately, there's no official go-kart racing in GTA Online, but what you can do is you can get a few friends and start an impromptu go-kart race through your interaction menu. And you know what? We'll add another one to the list. Instead of doing it with go-karts, do it with normal cars as well. Start an impromptu race in your interaction menu. They're a lot of fun. Next on the list, try to get into a bad sport lobby. Now, I wouldn't recommend doing this a lot because every time you get in a bad sport lobby, it's going to increase the timer and eventually you'll be in there forever. But there's actually a few methods to easily get in a bad sport lobby with your friends. If you haven't been in one before, it's a completely different world, man. Everyone in there is like doing god mode glitches, griefing. It's crazy. It's actually fun to experience once. Do your stash outs and any other daily activities you may have missed. I don't know about you, but I often, whenever I log in, actually forget to do these activities, so here's a little reminder to do them. They'll only take you a couple minutes and they're pretty fun. There's several gates around the map that will actually launch your car into the air. You can look them up on YouTube. They're a lot of fun. This is one of the ways players used to entertain themselves back when there wasn't much to do way back in 2013 when the game first came out. Complete all of the auto shop contracts. There's 8 of these in the game, and they are some of the most fun content in the entire game. They're kind of like mini heists, and a lot of players have never actually done them. If you're one of those people who only farms the Union Depository contract, switch it up. There's other ones that are really, really fun to at least play a few times. Flying a tank around like you're flying a mini AC-130, man. This is something players used to do when the game came out. It's been around for 10 years now. Get a cargo bomb, get a tank, and fly around like you're an AC-130. I have spent hours doing this with friends over the years. It's a lot of fun. Car door surfing. This is really fun and it kind of cheeses the mechanics of Grand Theft Auto 5. So what you want to do is break a door off a car, obviously. You want to do this on a hill. Then you want to start shooting the door, wait till it starts to roll down the hill, and then jump on it. And unlike other moving objects in GTA 5, when you're on this, you won't actually fall off. You'll surf the door right down to the bottom of whatever hill you're on. And last on the list, wait patiently for GTA 6. I know, man, it's coming one day. Alright, I swear, I pray, I hope, one day. Please. But these are 101 things you can do in the meantime while we wait for GTA 6 if you're bored. So I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a thumbs up, sub for more stuff like this, and I'll see you in the next video. Boys!